Tears of the Kingdom is the most debated Zelda game to date, and while there are many reasons as to why this game is flawed, I want to highlight and focus on the story aspects that just don't work. Tears of the Kingdom focuses on the split stories of Link and Zelda. In Breath of the Wild, we see some of the same. However, it progresses the story of Link and Zelda in memories together, while Tears of the Kingdom has an uneven balance of story progression between the two main characters. This game heavily relies on the story of both Link and Zelda, and while the game does a great job at progressing Zelda's story, Link isn't a part of Zelda's adventure in the past. The main story has to focus on Link progressing as a character, and while the cutscenes in the beginning and end do a great job at that, he is insanely one-dimensional, and he almost has no character progression at all. To explain, there's a term called character depth, where you have two types of characters. You have one-dimensional characters and three-dimensional characters. One-dimensional characters are people who just are put into the story and don't change. They just have their same beliefs, and they don't go through something important. While a three-dimensional character goes through their own turmoils and successes throughout the story, making them change on how they view the world and or other things. You might say that, well, Link doesn't talk and shouldn't be that expressive, and he shouldn't be progressive as a character. I do agree sometimes in the older games. However, in Breath of the Wild, we see Zelda and Link's relationship progress through the memories. And with Tears of the Kingdom, Link isn't in the past, so we only see Zelda progress as a character. The world and main story needs to progress Link as a character because of this absence. Well, you could make the argument of him with Puppet Zelda and being emotionally gatekept. He just doesn't have enough depth. While a main character should have multiple events that progress their character and change them. And Link only really has 3 events that act as different plot points. There's basically nothing in between there. 1. Link failing to catch Zelda. This is a major one because that's what the story is all about. He failed to protect her, and now he needs to make up for that again and try to get her back. 2. Puppet Zelda and Hyrule Castle. This is another really big one. Ganondorf gatekeeps Link's emotions with Puppet Zelda, and this is probably the only time in the game, apart from the ending and beginning, where he shows a bit of emotion. And we just don't see that anywhere else. And then finally, this is Link making up for his mistakes in the past, and it would be a really good and satisfying ending, even more than it already did, if he had some more emotional growth throughout the story. Yes, these are major events and plot points, but everything in between doesn't progress Link's character development. And Link is the freaking main character and needs to have development. That's why he feels so flat in this game. Another known and major issue of this game are the memories. With this type of story in Tears of the Kingdom, it just doesn't work. Tears of the Kingdom's story focuses on the past and is supposed to feel like a mystery, focused on what happened to Zelda. In Breath of the Wild, the memories are supposed to show more character development and depth, without necessarily changing the outcome of what the player knows. Even though Tears of the Kingdom tries to drive you in the right direction with Impa's quest, I have yet to see someone follow it without outside help. This is the defining flaw of the story, because it's supposed to be a mystery. There are major plot twists in these stories which have genuine good payoff and effect, but that gets ripped away if you see a plot twist as your first memory.
To become an immortal dragon is to lose oneself.
This system did not work for Tears of the Kingdom in the slightest. The reason it works for Breath of the Wild is because the game tells you the story through its world, as well as King Rome basically telling you the exact story in the beginning of the game. With Tears of the Kingdom's world needing to tell the story of Link and how his character progresses, it also needs to respond to his actions. What I'm talking about is, say you went and saw the final memory. So you now know what happens to Zelda, but say a character asks about what happened to Zelda, Link should be able to tell people about her draconification, and they should be able to respond. I'm not saying that the developers are lazy, because this is unbelievably hard to balance and for it to make sense to the player. The easiest way to fix this would have been able to block memories behind story progression, allowing you to still understand the story, but not to be able to get spoiled or have the world become static. This also doesn't help the fact that Link feels very static as a character, again coming back to that first dimensional point. With the player's knowledge, they know what happens, and if Link or some other character does not interpret that to the other characters, then it feels like you are disconnected with the main character you play as. It's definitely tough for a game like this, where you are meant to be connected to the main character and you want to be able to feel like you are him when playing. I might cover this in another video where gameplay really affects how connected you are to the characters and the world around you. Being able to control your characters in a cutscene-like scenarios like the ending really sells you the fact that you are controlling this character. It is almost a part of you. It's just so jarring when it gets taken away from you and you don't feel like you are a part of the world anymore. There are many different ways on how to solve this. Let's look at the 3 different points I made and what possible solutions I can come up with. Number 1, static progression. I would personally make it so that Zelda is more connected to Link and we can see them have a personal connection. Maybe Zelda in the past could have glimpses of Link's reflection, like he's looking at her, or have him interact with her memories in some way, helping Zelda avoid danger and what to say, something like that. They just need some sort of interaction and have them both develop their strengths with each other. Both Zelda and Link should become confident to sacrifice whatever they want to get back to each other. Number 2, memories. I think just scrapping it altogether would be the best solution. With this sort of mystery story, we need another way to look into the past. Maybe by completing each dungeon, you get a piece of the story of what happened in the past. That way, each dungeon progresses the story even more and makes them more unique, and it should also block you from getting memories too early. I also feel like it shouldn't matter what dungeon you go to. If you go to your first dungeon in Gerudo, it will be the same as going to Rito for your first one as well. You will get the same memory with the number of dungeons you have completed. Number 3, player knowledge. This will get solved with a solution to memories. However, I do think it would be nice to have the first 4 dungeons get quicker after you beat each dungeon. Like, imagine explaining something about Zelda, Sonia, Rauru, whatever, and you complete one of the pre-dungeon tasks automatically. Or you could have NPCs with more dialogue based on your progression, similarly to how people comment in Breath of the Wild that Link does not have the Master Sword. The main problem with Tears of the Kingdom is its absolute freedom. On paper, it is such a good idea to give the player as much freedom as possible. However, too much freedom actually detracts from a gaming experience. If they wanted to do it better, maybe they should have had it ramp up. The farther you progress in the game, you should get more access to different items that make you have more freedom. Similar to how Metroidvanias work, on how you gain different abilities over time by defeating bosses and progressing. And then you can go back and go to rooms that you couldn't access before. What do you think? Are there any points I missed, or am I completely delusional? Anyways, I hope you all have a great day, and God bless.